Hello, everyone. We have some amazing news to share. If you're one of the millions of Americans receiving Social Security disability benefits or compensation, check your Jack to Z balance because a $4,100 direct payment could be deposited tomorrow. After months of intense talks on Capitol Hill, Congress adopted a historic $1.90 trillion disaster aid bill with a provision to expedite $4,100 checks to over 64 million people. Social Security pensioners getting nearly quadruple their monthly check, disabled people on SSI and SSDI about to gain thousands more money, veterans getting a surprise payout equal to portion of their quarterly disability payments. It's happening. This life-changing money might allow grandparents to quit taking pills, and half it could mean keeping the heat on for a few months or spending on better grocery store nourishment. This sudden influx of cash will provide real relief and breathing room for so many struggling on fixed incomes. So pay close attention as I break down all the latest details on who qualifies for this money, when it will arrive, and what it could mean for your pockets. Let's prepare for the $4,100 Calvary. Hit that like button and let's dive in. Welcome to my channel, your trusted source for Social Security updates and stimulus checks for American seniors, including SSDI and VIA recipients. Hello everyone, let's get started with shocking news that will affect millions of Social Security recipients, SSI, SSDI, and VIA benefits. We've been following Congress for months as lawmakers have been locked in intense negotiations over a historic piece of legislation aimed at providing supplemental financial relief to some of our nation's most vulnerable populations. After weeks of back and forth and political posturing, I can finally report that the bill has been approved. A $1.90 LAN emergency aid package that includes $4,100 direct payments to tens of millions of Social Security SDI and VIA beneficiaries nationwide is huge. I know many of you have been impatiently awaiting and watching every twist and turn of this Washington saga. So let me tell you what was authorized and what it means for your pocketbook. First off, this $4,100 direct payment is technically an emergency supplemental income or ESI payment. Its purpose is to provide an extra financial lifeline to those receiving Social Security retirement benefits, disability benefits through SSI or SSDI, and compensation for disabled veterans. Early estimates indicate that over 64 million Americans could benefit from this. 64M people. The legislators crafting this bill recognize how devastating the pandemic has been, especially for those living on fixed incomes and disability payments, so putting this extra cash directly into their hands was a top priority. The bill requires the $4,100 payments to be made through the same methods as monthly Social Security SSDI SLVA benefits. Majority of you will receive a direct deposit into your bank account or whatever you regularly receive your money. And the timing for these emergency payments to start hitting is highly aggressive, according to various accounts. The first wave of payments is scheduled for deposit as early as tomorrow, Saturday, May 25th. With over 64 million payments to process, it will likely be a more staggered rolling basis from there, but the fact that they're pushing such a quick initial timeline is pretty unprecedented and amazing to see now in terms of this was a blanket payment by Congress to cover all recipient groups. The only potential X factor is for low-income Social Security recipients who also claimed the economic impact payments from previous COVID relief bills. From what I'm seeing, those who received the full $1,400 check earlier this year may receive a partial $4,100 payment, since the new amount could be reduced based on the previous funds received. We're still waiting for confirmation from the IRS and Social Security admin. Congress has included strong protections to ensure recipients receive this money without it being used for debts, child support, student loans, or garnishment orders. The language exempts these emergency payments from federal garnishment orders and private debt collection, but outstanding tax debt or debts owed to other federal agencies could still trigger garnishment of a portion of the $4,100. The Social Security Administration will have to follow their standard operating procedures in those cases. As for whether this payment will be considered taxable income, the current guidance leans toward it being treated as a tax-free disbursement for federal taxes. But a few states may still tax it on the state income tax level, So check your local rules. Those are the key highlights around the who, what, when, and how of this major $4,100 payment initiative based on the available info right now. Let's now pivot to discussing the bigger picture and analyzing the potential impact for starters. Let me be the first to congratulate all of you, Social Security recipients, disabled individuals on SSI, SSDI, and our veterans, for this long overdue recognition. This one-time $4,100 payment is the largest single payment that Social Security beneficiaries have ever received, dwarfing previous stimulus efforts for the typical retiree stretching to survive on an average monthly check of $1,500 from Social Security. This extra $4,100 represents nearly triple their regular benefit amount, huge deal when it comes to the real-life impact. The obvious huge plus is the sudden injection of billions upon billions of dollars directly into the pocketbooks of millions of financially vulnerable Americans, for grandparents choosing between food and medications, disabled individuals struggling with soaring housing costs, and injured veterans facing impossible bills. This $4,100 lifeline could literally save lives. On a broader economic level, seniors, disabled citizens, and veterans are some of the most reliable, consistent spenders in our consumer economy. Unlike the affluent, who park cash windfalls in savings and investments, these benefit groups spend that money on rent, utilities, groceries, medical costs, and other necessities. Injecting $4,100 directly into their hands delivers one of the biggest bangs for your buck in terms of economic stimuli. Expect this unprecedented surge of consumer spending power to boost mom-and-pop retailers, supermarkets, pharmacies, and any business that caters to life's basics. It's huge not just for the immediate bottom line of these local merchants who have been crushed by the pandemic, but it's also going to drive jobs now. Critics of this bill will definitely argue that the $190 trillion price tag is fiscally irresponsible, overwhelmingly burdensome on future generations, or potentially exposed to fraud and abuse. Those are all valid philosophical debates to have in the broader economic and political discourse. The overwhelming majority of Social Security beneficiaries, disabled individuals, and veterans receiving these 100 payments are hardworking Americans who paid into the system their whole lives and are now just trying to survive through no fault of their own. So while reasonable people can disagree on the long-term fiscal ramifications, let's celebrate this as the much-needed lifeline and massive win that it is for tens of millions of our honorable seniors, members of the disability community, and heroes who served our nation. Of course, the rollout of an emergency relief initiative this large is never going to be perfect. There are bound to be some hiccups, implementation snags, and areas of confusion in the coming days and weeks. That's only natural with a program of this unprecedented scope and scale. My advice, keep checking SSA.gov and your benefit portals for updates, and maybe subscribe to my channel to stay updated as new details emerge. I'll be tracking all the developments and committed to keeping you informed every step of the way if you have any questions or encounter any issues. I also recommend proactive aid seeking. Through formal procedures at the Social Security Administration VA or your local congressional representative, don't merely wait in a lengthy phone queue. Apply courteous but firm pressure until your issue is resolved. I realize bureaucracies are frustrating, but the people behind this emergency relief bill are understaffed. To conclude today's video, lifesavers working hard can benefit from kindness and empathy. See you in the next video, and if you enjoy it, subscribe for more.